This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports Chaco. We're delighted to be joined with the head honcho once again of Conlan Boxing, Jamie Conlan. How are you?
Oh, good, Morty. How's things?
Things are fantastic. I was giving you a bit of slack for your birthday the other day. Are you feeling another year older, another year wiser?
Not wiser, older. But I presume you're not wiser as well. We're not top.
Definitely not. I knew that was coming. I thought, well, I put something else on. I thought, nah, I'm not on camera. People won't know what you're saying.
Okay.
But like I was looking over some of your pictures, you're actually getting younger looking as you get older. But I guess you're not fighting anymore, so that's probably why.
No one's punched me in the head, Morty. That's a big benefit of not looking not looking older.
I guess you've no stress and strain of obviously fight camps and stuff anymore. Um, Obviously, I want to touch first of all, and I guess the last month for Irish boxing's been massive. I guess I've sort of been told in line with sort of everybody at the moment that just because you're over the age of 30 doesn't mean you say your career's finished in boxing. With Anto Cacace putting on a sort of masterclass against Mega McNeasy. Dennis Hogan obviously beating Sam Egington. Darragh Foley was obviously his big success. And then obviously you have Pody to come next week. So over the course of 5 weeks, for the over 30 club in Irish boxing, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, Eric Donovan as well was 37.
Donovan.
So it's massive nights. I think the old boys, you can teach them some new tricks, it seems. But some brilliant nights for Irish boxing. I think we have a lot more to come, but it's showing that there's still, despite ages, that you're still able to kind of produce the goods and don't underestimate the fighters. And I think that's probably what's happened on one or two of them occasions. Dennis Hogan especially, they probably thought they were on for an easy touch going over and fighting Dennis, who's 35, 36, and
37.
And 37. He's older than me. And so he turned it on him. So again with Eric also. So yeah, it's age is just a number for the lads, and it's all about what they've got and what their determination is and what they kind of want to do and achieve in the sport.
And I guess it's for a lot of them obviously had hard luck stories, and obviously the sport, obviously Eric's, obviously it's well documented, obviously his struggles with the sport. Anto Cacace obviously couldn't get fights and was sort of pondering retirement. I guess it's proof in the pudding. It's sort of, if you're not old enough to still succeed in the sport, and for some of them they still have a lot left to give in the sport, but it just goes to show you that one bad bit of luck isn't the riding factor in your career. You can still make it and you can still achieve what you want to.
This game is a big game of snakes and ladders. We're constantly going up and down in the career and process. Nothing is ever really rosy. Very rarely is a career and a career path very just clear and straight. There's a lot of ups and downs, and I think every failure there you mentioned has had them inside the ring and outside the ring, and it's just a testament to themselves, to the training teams, to their families around them, to keep them on the straight and keep the focus and keep the kind of drive to succeed and become champions.
And obviously in 9 days' time, obviously the hammer, Pody McCrory, he's sort of going to write another folklore in Irish boxing, going away to enemy territory, moving up in weight. And it's not one of them where you sort of go into enemy territory and it's the odds are stacked against you. It's a very, very winnable fight for Pody next week.
100%. I don't think. Well, I wouldn't have accepted the fight if I didn't think Pody would win. I think it's an opportunity. I do think we're the underdogs going in, probably on the bookies, because of given the way the weight, given the way the location. He's nothing that Pody hasn't seen before. When it comes to technical ability, when it comes to size, even though he's actually physically the same height as him, he's used to weighing heavier, but I don't think he's a bigger guy than Pody. So there is a lot of things that we're looking at, and you're kind of taking it away from you look in Pody's favour, but I think this will be to bring out the best in Pody McCrory. I think the away fans that he's going to bring over 200 that's coming across will be more vocal than the German fans. Pody McCrory's fans are always up there with the best fans in Irish boxing. They have been since the days in the Dabnish. They followed him right through. He is a cult hero in Irish boxing circles, but they get it. They understand that this is This is the night. This is Pody McCrory's big night, and they've come out in force. You know, initially I think flights were only like €30. When you try and book one now, you're looking €300. So that shows you that the people from Belfast are the ones going over to Frankfurt, and I'm very, very excited because I went up and watched him spar 12 rounds on Sunday, and it's the best Pody McCrory I've seen, and I've seen Pody for years, since I was boxing as an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like a young, fresh, hungry Pody McCrory. And this is a dangerous, dangerous night for Leon Boone. Don't get me wrong, there is elements of the fight that I think Boone is probably favoured in. He's got great speed, he's got great hand speed, he's got good footwork. I don't think he's as heavy-handed as Pody, even at light heavyweight. But it's just about adapting to that and overcoming the small, hopefully small hurdles that we have in this fight. But I'm very, very excited, very, very confident, and I think it's a fantastic story for Pody McCrory to come through.
I think sort of a lot of success probably was in the ring for Pody. He's probably maybe down to yourself. He's probably been matched well in ways, and sort of even when he's been the sort of underdog in fights, he's sort of not been overconfident in fights. We obviously seen in the SSE in August where he knew he was going in as an underdog, but he knew obviously the opportunity, if he lands the punches, he's going to spark people out. He's
been, in my eyes, potentially an underdog in his last 3 fights. 4 fights, if you want to include Mickey Ellison and Steve Collins and stuff like that. He's been matched evenly, but there's a very easy case for him to be underdog in them fights. And I've been selective in a way, but also not selective in a way because of his age and because of how he speaks and because of how he trains and because of how confident he is in himself. You're kind of going, okay, let's go. And you're able to kind of do that with him. And he's I've always said if I was managing fighters and whatnot, I would have 10 Pody McCrory's because he gives you 100%. He's always open and honest with you, and constant dialogue between each other is vital in a manager-fighter relationship, because you need to know and you need to understand things, and you need to you can't make a decision without having the full understanding of what the fighter's perspective is. And Pody is open and honest in his perspective, different fights, different scenarios, money, where we are, where we're going, what they expect, expectations, and it's I can't stress how excited I am for this night, because I do believe fighters, when they go away from here, they bring a big fan base. Mick McNally, Ian McGee in Manchester, all these different fighters, McCluskey when he fought Amir Khan, all these different nights that you get away these are the nights that fans remember. And I remember when I was a kid and my dad waking up, we had teletext and Wayne McCulloch win his first world title in Japan. And that's how we kind of sat around and seeing the teletext come down the screen that he had won the fight, because that's the only way you get the result back then. And I think these fans going over will have something to kind of really talk about for a while to come.
And I guess on a good note as well, obviously being able to add Kieran, Molloy and Kurt Walker to the card as well, it's sort of bringing like I keep saying Irish invasion for a lot of cards, but obviously 3 Irish fighters in the one card. It's more potential fans there as well. They get behind everybody and support them. For Kieran and Kurt, it's 6 rounders, I believe.
Kieran and Kurt, 6 rounders. Kurt is fighting an Italian opponent. Kieran is fighting a Georgian opponent. Kurt's opponent 6-3. Kieran's, I think, is 12-16 or something like that, but a really tough Georgian. And I think the awkwardness of Kieran, we've matched him with different stages of what they were against last time to kind of give them something different, a new look, a different perspective. Great for the lads to get out, constantly learning on the road, different things. That they're different environment, not used to their own friends and family around them, not used to their own bed. You're bringing yourself out of your comfort zone. People don't speak your language. You're having to go to different venues where you've never been before, different commission who you've never dealt with, loads of different wee boxes that you tick now. And it's good to tick them now, because when you're having an opportunity away from home in a big fight, nothing is kind of new. It's all been done before. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. We're hopeful that we can announce in the next day or two about an Irish broadcaster showing it with so much Irish interest in the card, that an Irish broadcaster should be announced in the next day or two. Next day or two. We're hopeful to kind of get it out there and for next Saturday, and we're very excited about that. And I think Irish boxing is thriving, and Irish broadcasters coming on board is key now to the survival and the revival of Irish boxing.
I could sort of nearly say sort of who it is, but I guess it wouldn't be fair, obviously, in any announcement to come that sort of it's been broke out there in advance. But I guess the good thing is broadcasting in Germany for Irish boxing is probably going to be really good in terms of helping the profile of particularly Kieran and Kurt, in a free view sort of capacity, but also for Pody as well, because the last thing he wants him going out there and people having to, as you say, go on the TV and look for a result, or go online and look for a result rather than able to tune in.
Very easy to find it. It'll be publicized, I think, over the next week, and it's brilliant for them. It's the exposure that's needed in Kurt and Kieran's point of view, and the young lads' progression in their career. But then again, the exposure that's needed, they highlight the magnitude of what Pody is going up against and where is he going and what he's going to achieve. So this is still another step in the ladder for Pody McCrory. This is like the last fight, the fight before that there. It's just another step. This isn't the end. This is another step.
And obviously you've announced, obviously your brother's going to be back. I think it was no secret that it was going to be the 10th of December. I think Michael had sort of leaked that a short time ago. But obviously in the opponent, Karim Geffrey, obviously I want to ask, obviously, first of all, Karim Geffrey, I'm guessing, probably wasn't the first choice he's probably had as an opponent for Michael.
No, he wasn't. No, we were looking at Jordan Gill and Kiko Martinez, and then they ended up fighting each other. So we looked around for name recognition. Karim had a win after his fight of the year contender with Jordan Gill. He had big name recognition from the fight in the summer, from the big fight with Gill. 5-time European champion, former world title challenger. He's a seasoned operator. Again, we spoke about the old boys winning last week in the last 4 weeks from an Irish perspective. This isn't the same, but only in a French perspective. Karim will come with this with eyes wide open, opportunity, seeing Michael as a big opportunity and cash cow for him for bigger things. He is very confident. He's known about it for about 4 weeks now, if not more. So he's had a full 13, 14 week camp, and he's coming at it with the opportunity to win. He presents something that is always kind of good to see. He's relentless, as we've seen as he was against Jordan Gill. He handled the good box fighter style really well until he got knocked out. People will look back at his losses to McGregor and Damascus and whatever like that, but they were all a bantamweight where he was, I've seen him up close and personal, he was never should have been a bantamweight. And against their two world-class operators. I think Liam McGregor is a champion in weighting, and I think the Filipino was world champion at that stage as well. So, yeah, it's a fight. People will probably think it's a keep busy fight, but it's another learning fight. We do have world title on the horizon, and hopefully for March, but we can't focus on that right now. I think Karim Geffrey deserves full focus. I think it's a potential banana skin for different reasons to what Mariaga brings. Mariaga brought more of a punch power, whereas Karim brings more of a punch output, and Michael will have to answer them questions. So yeah, I think it was a very formidable foe. You know, you'll probably get some people look down on it because of his age, but again, as we talked about earlier, age is just a number for these guys if they're elite.
Michael always seems to get quite a lot of stick, you know. I'm going to call it exactly it. He does get a lot of stick for obviously who he fights, but in 5 of his last 6 fights, he's fought either world champions or world title challengers. Can you put a sort of pulse on it? I guess we had it with Frampton as well. Didn't matter who they could have fought the very best in the world. They just seem to get disrespect from somewhere. Is it just something you just have to get used to in boxing?
I think you can't read into it. I think it comes with the territory, especially if you're in a high-profile position. You're constantly going to get flack. You don't get credit until you're beat, and then I think that's when he got his best credit, was when he lost. The most credit he's ever got was when he lost, but that shows the mentality of people. They don't like to see you do well. Probably, I'm not overly sure on that. And there is people behind them. You have to kind of focus on the positives. Take on board some of the negatives if you want to improve, of course, but don't let them fester in you, because they're not in your shoes. As you said about Frampton, one of the most beloved sporting heroes we've had over the past load of years. Again, if we look back at his career, how many times was he slated for his opponents? Mm-hmm. I would say every fight you would have a minority of people constantly just berating him. There is reasons for it. We don't want to get into it on this podcast, but yeah, it is what it is. You can't look into it.
Yeah, you just can't look too far into it. I guess probably the most relieved man sort of this time around, Sean McComb. He was sort of nearly the last man announced on the card the last time, and he's been announced on obviously the day the announcement was made. There was no teasing involved with him this time.
No, definitely not. I had said to Sean after the last fight, you win this fight, I'll get you a title fight next. We were looking at come off title, Sam Maxwell, and then it just didn't pan out. So we're looking at 1 or 2 different international titles, all Irish fights, potential for Sean. 2 offers have been put out to Irish fighters for Sean. Nothing is confirmed as of yet. We're also looking at 1 French fighter and a few others. So big opportunity for Sean. I think it's been a long time coming, built up very well when he was under the MTK banner of really progressing. Him and Gary Colley and Peter Leary were 3 hot prospects at the same time coming right through. And then Sean had that blip against Gavin Gwynn. He's learned from it. He's come back from it. He's had a few rebound fights that was testing in different ways. And now this is his opportunity again to kind of get a title, get on the ladder, push on with his career, and start for big things. Because I think the talent does not leave him despite a loss. And it's just about how you learn from it and bounce back from it. I think Sean has a very, very good mindset, and he will bounce back for it in the right way. And I'm very excited to see him in a group test. He'll be tested. It's going to come with the territory, but he'll be tested.
We've obviously put up polls the last couple of days, which I know you've obviously seen on Instagram. There's been quite a lot of tasty fights there. If some of the tasty fights we've seen are potential opponents, then we're in for a great fight.
It's not that I seen them on Instagram. More do you send me the pictures and say, make this fight? You know? Yeah. So there is great fights out there. I think there's great fights out there for Sean McComb. I think there's great fight. I think the featherweight division coming through, there's some fantastic fights to make. But yeah, listen, Irish boxing, as I said at the very start, is thriving. The lads doing well. Your likes of Anto, Eric, Dennis Hogan and stuff like that. It's only going to benefit Michael. It's going to benefit the likes of Sean McComb, you know, the likes of Pierce O'Leary, the likes of Kurt Walker and so on and so forth, and Kieran Molloy coming through. These will only get the best of what they're doing.
And obviously, your newly acclaimed Mexican's taking over your title. Tyrone McKenna is obviously back in action, obviously after a brutal war with Chris Jenkins last time out. Where do you envisage sort of what you now do with Tyrone? He's obviously had his fight at welterweight to see how he adjusts. Is he going to stay at welterweight? Is it probably titles on the line for him?
Title on the line for Tyrone, most likely. We're looking at different options. Tyrone wants the hardest one. Not necessarily what I want to do, but Tyrone wants the hardest one. He's looking at a few different people. We've spoke to some Americans, some Mexicans for Tyrone, and 1 or 2 British fighters, and we're just kind of looking to lock everything in by the end of the week. There is great progress there for Tyrone. Very excited to see the matchup with Tyrone's always fireworks. It's worthy of a main event. Tyrone has always been worthy of a main event role, but I think he fits into this co-main, battle-hardened warrior, blood and guts. Again, like Pody, a cult figure in circles of West Belfast, that Harry generates the people, dresses insane, talks insane. When he drinks insane, and everyone kind of knows Tyrone. So I'm very excited to see Tyrone. He just went on the box a bit more from a frame point of view. From a pen punter point of view, swing digs all around for Tyrone, but from a friend and a manager point of view, he can box, man. I've seen him box world-class fighters in the gym, outbox him, 6'2" southpaw. Now he can make things easy, but he just seems to love an outscrap, and that's kind of it's what everyone pays to see, but also it's the thing that, like myself, shortens your career.
It's funny when you were mentioning that. I could obviously think back to Michael, obviously, when he was watching your fights, you know, and obviously your wars. He was obviously saying that he wanted you to box a bit differently, and now that you're retired, you've mellowed down, and you're sort of looking at Tyrone. It's like you sort of looked at Tyrone and going, he's just a linkier version of myself, and he's doing what you done.
Listen, Tyrone is different kettle of fish to me. He is more insane than me, I would think, because he lives for it. Now, maybe when he's 6-7 years retired like myself, he will be telling other people don't be doing it. But he lives for it right now, and he's fully committed to fighting that way. Whereas everyone, Pete Taylor, I'd say his wife, everyone tells him to box. His friends tell him to box, but Tyrone's going to do what Tyrone's going to do, and it's very hard to stop him.
Tickets go on sale on Monday, I believe, is a pre-sale, and then Wednesday on Ticketmaster.
SSE pre-sale is Monday, Ticketmaster on Wednesday. We have made more availability to the cheaper tickets. £40 and £30 take up a large majority of the tickets, given the fact that I think everyone is feeling everything in the pocket more now. And it's coming up to Christmas. £40 for a ticket, £40 for a night at the fights is fantastic, especially with the world-class section they're going to get. And we've made a large majority of the tickets that price. You know, I think it's needed for this day and age. I think we need the kind of people who come pay their hard-earned money to come watch boxing. You can't thank them enough for coming out, because things are tough, times are tough, and you're coming out and put your hand in your pocket to come and watch fights. You have to thank them, and the way you thank them is you make the tickets cheaper. You make more of the cheaper tickets available for the people.
I guess after what we've been through in the last week or so of boxing, it's a relief to sort of hear sort of a good sort of story coming out, you know, the fact that tickets being made cheaper to help people to come and support what they love, you know, rather than obviously, as we're seeing, ticket prices getting extortionate in places. So trying to keep it cheap, trying to get it sold out quickly, and get everybody just to enjoy a really good night.
Yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity for a Christmas night out. A night of the fights isn't just a night of boxing. You know, it is a properly night out, and we'll have a live DJ. There's talk of big DJs coming to play this time and stuff like that. So the music's always good. You'll have a fantastic night out. Christmas night out. It's a perfect location for a Christmas night out.
And when should we expect probably any more announcements? Probably, I'm guessing you could probably announce most of the card probably very, very soon.
We should be announcing 75 to 80% of the card on Monday. Just waiting on final numbers coming through on opponents and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm waiting on artwork for 1 or 2 fighters at this moment in time, and then we'll be putting it all up on Monday.
I guess with just over 8 weeks out, the sort of times and the sort of presence and sort of getting it out as quickly as possible and get it sold and worry about planning for next year.
Exactly, yeah. We've booked dates for next year already. We're already planning for next year and we're already doing fights for next year, and we've got 2 dates already booked for the start of next year.
Fantastic. Well, look, obviously I told you I'd keep it short and sweet. Maybe we can catch up again next week when the rest of the cards announced to find out, obviously, who's been matched and obviously why they've been matched.
Yeah, 100%. I'd like to hear your critique on some of the fights that we're doing. They're all Irish fights that are very, very intriguing and fights that I'm very excited to see.
Definitely. Well, listen, thanks very much for your time, Jamie. Obviously, have a great weekend and we'll catch up with you soon.
Good man, Morty.
Cheers, Jamie. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.